to go. So glad anyone at home has joined us. Just be a moment.
You open the filter. You like to see I have to see who is no, but we need the main picture here and then the other one on the computer. More pictures.
Okay, hi everyone at home. We're ready to start. Just to mention briefly here, we have Ajahn, Jonathan, Thambak from Vietnam, Betty, Kunwarasak, Vincent, Mai from Vietnam, Riti from Cambodia, Vincent, everyone knows, is from Taiwan, Hang from Vietnam, Netta, Kun Jit in the corner, and yes, so very international gathering here. So glad to see you all. Okay, I think there was one topic that Vincent and others were discussing at lunchtime about the parami, the perfection. I didn't hear how it started, or so maybe you'd like to bring it up, because I know there was a question about upeka at the end.
Well, that's the basically, if people are interested, where is it in the book? The 10 perfection leading to enlightenment is the second to the last page. Second to the last page. It's saying about the Ubeka paramis. When it reach its peak, then it becomes the leading role of all the paramis to the enlightenment of the Mahabodhisattva. So the question is, any particular significance of the Ubeka paramis? Because the first impression I read about this was, I was thinking about Sankara Ubeka, but that's Panya, right? But obviously Ubeka paramis is of course conditioned by Panya. So the question is just to appreciate the word peak, the peak of all the paramis leading to the enlightenment. Summit. Okay. But
Ajahn, did you follow his question? It was a reference to Upekkha Parami and how it was a reference to Upekkha Parami and how it is said to be the leading parami or the peak parami. They can hear. Can you hear? Yes. Reference to how Upekkha is the peak parami. I can't see it here.
Without understanding a little bit more about what is there now, can there be the understanding of Upekkha Parami or any word or any Parami? It's not by intention just to have interest to understand it, but whether it's now, if one knows what Parami is, and learn about if there is Parami now, not kind of Parami. It's not just talk about it, but understand the nature of Parami, to understand each Parami when it's there. Because who knows what are there, what kind of Parami or how many Parami, but when there is the understanding of what is there, there can be the understanding of the reality of Parami. That's why I think that no matter how much we read about this or that, it depends on whether there is a little more understanding of the truth of what is there now in order to understand Parami or any word about this moment. That's why what is Parami? We have to come back again and again to know whether it's now. Otherwise, no understanding of Parami without understanding what is there now. So what is Parami? It's not enough just to hear again and again and again about each word of the truth, because the truth is so very subtle, even just one word, Dhamma. See, if we understand it, all realities, what are real, must be reality or Dhamma. So now begin to understand Dhamma now, because there is the understanding that whatever is real is a reality anytime, even right now. So what is real now? In order to understand a little more of what are there now, one characteristic of a reality at a time is learned. And that is Parami or not? What you just heard. Is it Parami?
is it Parami?
It is Parami. What kind of Parami? See, we learn from now.
I'd just like to add one comment on the quote in the book. I'd like to add one comment on the quote in the book. When it says, referring to the Bodhisattva, he did not cling to the vicissitudes of life. He reached the peak of the perfection of equanimity. It doesn't say equanimity is the peak or the foremost.
The next sentences.
It means that when equanimity was being developed, it was the highest degree of equanimity that he attained. And as such, it is preeminently a perfection leading to the awakening of the Buddha, one of the perfections leading to the awakening. So he reached the peak of that perfection, the peak of each parami. So each one is a preeminent perfection leading to the awakening of the Buddha. Yeah, I don't read it.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly where the question comes from, preeminently. But the Thai use the yod, the peak. but English translation is preeminently. And because I'm working with Pal on the Thai to Chinese translation, and so she also used the top, the peak.
Well,
That's why I check, right?
if you're translating from the Thai, then you have to follow the Thai.
Right. And that's why we are asking, well, first to confirm is the top, and second is to discuss why, particularly the significance of its role leading peak of all the
So
pyramids.
it doesn't say that it's the peak or the foremost of the pyramids, as we know. Understanding is the foremost, but it's saying that the Bodhisattva reached the peak of each perfection, the peak of dana perfection, the peak of upekkha perfection, the peak of satya perfection.
I think you'd have to look at the description of the other perfections and see if there's a similar phrase at the end, because according to what Sarah's suggesting, it would be a common ending to each of the sections on the pyramids. But if it only appears in the section on upekkha, then the inference would be there's something special about equanimity. But I don't know what that case is, and I don't think it's something for discussion here because it's a sort of academic point, really, translation point, rather than.
So this is a quote.
And I agree with Sarah because it's and as such. And that is
by reaching the peak of upekkha, just like the peak of each one, as such, it becomes preeminent. Yes.
The word preeminent infers among its peers it is more significant. That's what the word preeminent really suggests, but I don't know. We could argue this point all day. It's not going to get us anywhere at all.
But of course, I just want to avoid the impression that upekkha pyramid is particularly important.
Well, if the text is saying it is, then you can't avoid it if you're doing it.
Right.
Yeah. We would have to go back to the original Pali. I don't know. I'm like suggesting
I can look at how
this
people
comes
Bodhi
from
translate.
the commentary.
Yes.
The bit about being preeminent. But again, we don't know. Sometimes a translator incorporates material from the commentary into the translation of the main text without indicating.
Would you like to just briefly mention that other point we discussed? Yes.
Well, this is another technical translation part, but it is important because when we use the Jatasika, knows or experience the object. And in Chinese, we usually use experience. We say Chitta and Jatasika experience the same object. And sometimes we say Chitta and Jatasika, they know the object, but we don't alone use Jatasika, know the object. We use the Jatasika, experience the object.
What do you do?
What do you like?
It's not about personal likeness, right?
What?
I prefer experience.
What?
Oh, this is a general question.
Oh.
Now, getting away from what do you like?
What do I like?
Or Dhammas, we can talk about any Dhamma in different aspects. not just the word, but to understand Dhamma, learn about the word to understand the truth of Dhamma.
Right.
That's
Right.
why, what do you like now?
Make sure the kana of each Dhamma is clearly
No.
described.
Do you like this?
Do I like pen?
Not pen, this.
Yes. It looks
Okay.
nice.
If there is no seeing, can there be attachment to this now which is seen?
No.
That's why, like something, being attached to something, there must be the object that attachment is attached to. So it experiences, no matter what word you use,
Right.
to know or whatever, it's there to be object of attachment.
Yes.
But citta, the chief of experiencing the shape and form or the just color now, cannot attach. Each
Right.
one is different, but they experience or share or know the same object because they arise together, fall away together, experience the same object by different quality and
Right.
different function.
That's why experience is
It
preferred.
doesn't matter experience or know or what word in Chinese or in Thai, it doesn't matter, but it likes that which appears. And citta does not like it, but citta experience the object clearly as a
Right.
chief only.
Right.
And at that moment, there must be cetasika, the reality which is not hardness or the tree or the flower, but at that moment, it is attached to that which it experiences.
Yes. But attachment does not know it's blue color, not the red color.
Say it again.
The cetasika, the attachment attached to the color, but it does not know it's blue color.
And citta says what?
Chitta just cognize and
The same object as attachment
Yes.
is attached to, no
Right.
matter what word, but it cannot like, it cannot attach, it just experience this and that clearly, that each one is different.
right.
So that's why there are one citta, and how many cetasikas are there?
At least 7.
52.
Oh, okay.
So we can say 53 nama experience.
Right. Yes, but they as Nama they both experience the same object with Chitta as the leading role, but still the Lakkhana for Chitta and Cetasika has to be different. Like a Cetasika cannot cognize.
The difference is that citta, only citta, can experience the object clearly,
Right.
only that.
Yes.
But the other cetasikas experience the same object,
Right.
share the same object, arising together and falling together, never change that which is seen by citta.
Right.
And
So
cetasika, which arises to attach, is not that which is the chief of experiencing that object.
exactly. So we prefer use experience.
So it does not matter we use any word, but citta arises together with cetasikas, and citta cannot perform the function of any cetasika at all, and any cetasika cannot perform the function of experience as the chief, clearly, the object only. Even it experience clearly, it does not like or dislike,
Right.
because its function is to experience. And the cetasika attachment also attached to that which citta experience, not different moment, the same moment when citta experience what, cetasika arises and perform its function, like feeling.
Mhm.
See, feel what, towards what, if there's nothing there to be felt.
Mhm.
That's why they are realities which are nama, the reality which can experience the object.
Right.
Only the word you think about know or experience, or it doesn't matter, because whatever arises and experience the object is different from that which arises but cannot experience the object. But they are different. One citta, the chief of experiencing, and many Cetasikas, different quality, different characteristics, arising together, experience the same, but different function. Cetasika cannot experience the object like Citta, which is the chief of experience, different reality which is seen. Otherwise, how can it be known that this is not this?
Right.
Because Citta experience
Right.
and feeling at moment of experiences, and the feeling moment of experiences is different.
Yes.
But Citta cannot feel, Citta cannot like,
No.
though they arise together, experience the same object. So we don't mind about the word, any language used, but the truth is that Cetasika is not rupa.
Right.
It lies, it dislikes because experiencing the object which Citta is the chief of experiencing it. Any word? It doesn't matter.
Right. Well, in a deepest sense, the language doesn't really matter. But for reader to read, I still come back to the technical part of the translation because I really want to avoid people to have the impression that Cetasika, for example, Ekagata,
It doesn't matter about the others at all.
but it's for translation to
Who
for readers to
or
read.
her, it doesn't matter. What about the truth, this moment? The truth of this moment.
Mhm.
Different characteristics of realities that can appear only one reality or one object at a time only. So when we talk about Citta, why do we talk about Citta? It's there from birth.
Right.
Even it's there from birth, the object of the birth moment does not appear. See, but Citta is there, no matter the object appears or not, it experiences the object. We don't talk about the object, we just talk about Citta. And even the moment of experiencing the object cannot last. It falls away instantly. Whatever arises falls away instantly. Citta or Cetasika or Rupa. But the Rupa lasts longer than Citta, that's all. That's why at moment of seeing sees, the object hasn't fallen away yet. But different Citta conditioned by different moments perform its function. Like the Citta before seeing cannot see. The Citta after seeing cannot see. And Cetasika see, experience the same object.
Right.
When you say Chitta cognizes the object, but Cetasikas cannot cognize the object, to me it's like saying experience. So Chitta experiences, Cetasikas also experience. I think Ajahn's point is that it's very easy to get caught up in the words and find the words very important instead of just understanding the realities now. Because like when we discussed this point a little earlier, that was what she was stressing. It's never mind whether it's cognize or experience or know, just understand more about Citta and about Cetasikas.
Yes, I think Vincent appreciates that, but he's also asking from a translator's point of view, because obviously if you're going to be translating books that people are going to be reading, then I think the choice of term is significant. So you need to be careful about that.
For myself,
That's what I'm thinking,
reading
as
words,
John.
I think it's clearer. But if someone else uses know or cognize, I don't think we can say it's wrong because
That's what it comes down to.
Right.
You have a preference for one based on your knowledge of language and so forth, you'll use that. If someone else prefers another one, they will use that.
Well, it's not really personal. Well, really personal preference based on the reading from the text. Like Atasalini used the no for as lakana, know and cognize as lakkhana for chitta. So if that's lakkhana for chitta, then it's like Ekaggata cannot know its kasina. It does not know what is exactly it's concentrate on.
Is Cetasika
Vincent,
the same as Citta?
No.
See, what is the difference?
Well, experience clearly. Well,
Okay.
we use that word. Right?
That's it. And
Yes.
does the attachment attached to that which Citta experience clear?
Not as clear, not as
No. Citta experiences the object clearly.
yes.
Does attachment is attached to the object that Citta experience clear?
Well, in terms of attachment, that's his function.
The
right?
same
His function,
object
right?
but different function.
Yeah.
Yes, although when we say we're attached to this, for example, this is not the object of experience of seeing consciousness.
No.
So attachment, as I see it, is usually to the concept rather than the object of the sense door consciousness. I'm not saying there's not attachment at that time, but I'm just saying in daily life, when we say we're attached to things, it's to the concept rather than the sense door experience.
So Citta sees, does Citta likes?
No.
Attachment or lopa like, does it see? As a
No.
thief, it cannot see, but it like that which is seen because it also experiences that object, not the other object at all. The same object that Citta is a thief of experiencing clearly. But Cetasika does not perform that function, but it's experiences the object not by way of seeing,
No.
but experience it, the characteristic of that which is seen, for sure, the same object, but it likes. Citta cannot like. So how come to be attachment to the object if there is only Citta?
Because that's its characteristic to attach.
And we can never give perfect translations of the Pali. For example, when it says a characteristic of chitta is chinteti, and we translate it knows or cognizes the object, for example, it's not a perfect translation. So we just use the words as best we can to convey the meaning. So whether we say experiences the object, knows the object, cognizes the object, each one can be misunderstood, like knows the object, and people think about panya, knowing or understanding. So it's just a rough translation from the Pali.
So Vincent, what I think Sarah's saying is that even though you, in the end, get the right word,
Riti, do
the
you
best.
have a topic or questions you'd like to bring up today?
Thank you, Sarah. I have a question. From the book, from the teaching, it says Chetana is Kamma, and I'm thinking that if Chetana is Kamma, then how about the Arahat who already get rid of all the kilesa, but Arahat still has the Chetana to do something in their daily lives. So isn't that creating karma again for Arahat? And I know that from the teaching, it says Arahat has no more kusala or akusala, but only kiriya. But I'm not quite sure on that point. So it will be helpful if Ajahn John and Sarah could elaborate more on this point. Thank you.
I'll just add one comment first. So there are two kinds of karma pachya. The first is sahajata karma pachya. So at each moment now, chitta arises, experiences the object. Chaitana accompanies it, coordinates the chaitasikas and the chitta. It is karma, so it is sahajata karma pachya. So even for the arahat, the chaitana that arises at each moment in life is karma, but there is no more of the second kind of karma, the chaitana with moments of kusala and akusala that can condition karma pata, that can bring results. No more of nana karma kanika nana kanika karma pachya. No more karma that can bring results in future, but there is still sahajata karma pachya. There's still, each chaitana is karma. So at every moment, like now, at the moment of seeing, the chaitana is karma, karma is chaitana. Synonyms.
Thank you. Yes, Ajahn.
What is it?
Seeing now.
Intention.
Yes, intention, intend to see.
By oneself with kusala or akusala, or is conditioned.
It is conditioned.
Because it's the vipaka. We learn about the word, but we have to understand the meaning of each one. What is the vipaka? What is the kusala? What is the akusala? And if you just read only one page or one sentence, how can there be a more and more deeper understanding of the truth? For example, is there intention right now?
Yes, Ajahn.
Do you intend to have seeing arise?
Seeing arise by...
That's not the question. Do you intend to have seeing arise?
No.
See, but you intend to pick up the pen. Right? That's why we have to understand each moment about each different reality at each level. Whether it's the cause, the root, or whether it's the result of the root that has been done. What is what? Not just pick up the book and then that is vipaka and this is kriya and this is kusala and akusala. It's not enough. Just to understand Dhamma, no one at all, no matter what we read in Tipitaka or anyone's book about what is there now. The understanding is there. We are talking about what is there now, because usually no thought about it at all. We just follow condition to intend to do this or to go somewhere or to do something. No understanding of what is it as not I at all. To learn to understand the truth, that in truth, what is meant by reality or Dhamma. Can it be changed? Dhamma?
No, it cannot be changed.
It has to be Dhamma, a reality which cannot be changed at all. That's why even intention is there by different conditions. That's why we learn to understand that which now sees, whether there is intention to see. Who knows? If we haven't heard the truth about it. But it's there, but not as the moment of intent to do something. That's why it's not just what does it mean, what that word means about the truth, but to understand the truth. Each reality Buddha thought about the truth of it, different ones. Attachment is not aversion, it's not intention. See, no thought about this moment, whether even there is intention with every moment, but not the same intention at all. That's why just learn the book and talk about the vipaka or kusala akusala is not enough. Is it enough? When we think intention, there is intention at moment of seeing, and there is intention at moment of walking. See, different intention. But it is intention to understand what intention is so clear. There cannot be any doubt about it when there is a little more understanding of just one reality at a time.
And perhaps to highlight that distinction that Ajahn is just drawing between the different types of intention, you can consider seeing and looking, or hearing and listening. Listening involves hearing, but it involves also something more, doesn't it? Paying attention to that, whatever is the object of interest. So there's an intention there that's different from the intention that accompanies the hearing. The hearing occurs without any apparent intention on our part. The mental factor of intention is there, but it's not the conventional idea of intention that is involved when we talk about looking or listening.
So when we say there is intention at moment of seeing, can there be the understanding of that reality at moment of seeing? But the other moment, intention to go, intention to stand up, there can be the understanding. That's why just one word is not enough at all to understand the characteristic of a reality. That's why there is other word for intention or will or cetana, many words. If we fix to just one meaning, it can be doubt. At moment of seeing, no intention to see, but intention perform its function, the other aspect.
So there is intention, cetana, arising of every citta, and another word for cetana is karma. So there is karma pachya at every moment, sahajata karma pachya, because the intention, the cetana, conditions the other cetasikas and the citta it arises with by coordinating them. And this is true no matter with seeing now or the seeing of an arahat anytime. But the kusala and akusala, that is the karma that has brought results, the Nanakanika karma pachya brought a result at another time. There is no more of this kusala or akusala, no more of this karma pachya for an arahat, but there is still the cetana at each moment. So cetana is always karma, karma is cetana.
Thank you, Ajahn, John, and Sarah. I have a better understanding about Cetana now. It is very subtle. So it takes a lot of self-experience and life experience to understand more about each word. So like the question from Ajahn now is, it really helps me to understand more about the word Cetana now, the reality that it points to. Yes, thank you.
But what is the word which is so helpful to get closer to the function of Cetana? See, there are many words for it, but which one is that which get closer to the nature of it, no matter at what time? Coordinator, the will, intention. See, what can be the understanding a little more because the word change at different stages of Cetana. Even Kamma, see, everyone just used the word Kamma, but what is it? What reality is it? What moment is Kamma? And there are many kinds of Kamma too. That's why we learn little by little to understand that all Dhammas are so very subtle. Even it's said in this language or this word, but it depends on considering the nature of it, the function of it, the truth of it. For example, Cetana, let's use Pali term now because everyone have many meanings, many words for it. So just Cetana, it arises with each moment of Citta. See, it's the beginning to understand the nature of Cetana, no matter it arises with the moment or the other moment. At moment of attachment, it's the Cetana. At moment of irritation, it's the Cetana. That's why it arises with every moment. That's why it's there, performing what function, arising with different cittas, different aspects, different quality, kusala or akusala. See, that's why the word and the translation or the meaning, it depends on considering carefully the nature of it, as that reality is there, performing its function. Maybe enough.
I'd just like to invite anyone from home. You've all been very patient for the last couple of weeks. So I don't know whether Yotika or anyone else at home would like to bring up any question or topic. Now is your chance. Carmen, Nazita, Alberto, anyone at home who we can see preferably. Drake.
Could you please talk about the paramita of patience and endurance? I'm trying to learn how to practice guarding the mind door and restraint in order to improve sila, especially with my thoughts. And so I was trying to find a way to sustain the mindful awareness in order to recognize and abandon the resentment and anger, things like that.
The resentment and anger you mentioned, Drake, and thanks for the question. I think it's a topic that came up on our trip. Could we summarize what you're saying by saying that you'd like to have less agusala and more gusala in a day? And I think many people feel the same way. But we have to consider why things are the way they are now. In other words, why isn't there more gusala already than there is? And why is there more agusala? Why is there as much agusala as there is in a day? And of course, the answer is that those are the accumulated tendencies that have been carried forward for such a long time. If it was possible for there to be more kusala and lesser kusala, then why shouldn't there be? So the next question is are the conditions for changing that to do with intentional effort, or is it even fruitful to think of trying to change that situation? Of course, we know the Buddha encouraged the development of kusala and the abandonment of akusala. So we might think that there is a way to achieve what you're really suggesting. But the Buddha didn't actually go on to say that this should be a practice. And more importantly, nor did he say that this was the path that would lead to enlightenment. Because the development of kusala as such leads only to more calm and more calm, and much later on more concentration. And eventually, if it's fully developed, possibly to jhana, but that is not the right path. So a question that Ajahn has often asked is, what is more valuable, less anger or the understanding of a conditioned reality that now appears? And if we think of it that way, then it's obvious that the track we're on of wanting to change because we don't like ourselves as we are, and also we know that kusala, of course, is beneficial to oneself and to others, whereas akusala is harmful to oneself and others. So we might think, why shouldn't it be possible to have more of one and less of the other? But in reality, that's not how it works. Because when kusala is developed and akusala is abandoned, the abandonment is only temporary. In other words, kusala sort of displaces akusala, but doesn't eradicate the root source, which is the accumulated tendency. And so even if there seems to be some improvement after a period of practice or whatever, because of one has heard something from the Buddha's teaching that seems to lead to a change, nothing essentially is changing in terms of the long-term goal of having a better understanding of this moment in life and the life that is the life of rebirth in samsara. And the other point, sorry, you go ahead.
No, go on.
The other point, I'll just be brief, is that people view the akusala, which they see, and it's ugly. We all appreciate that. But that is viewed as being a hindrance to the development of understanding, awareness and understanding. But properly understood, that's not the case. Awareness and understanding can arise in the midst of akusala and take the akusala as object. Any reality can be object of awareness and understanding. And that is the path taught by the Buddha. And of course, the other that we're talking about, the promotion of kusala to the detriment of akusala, is a skill that was known before the Buddha's enlightenment, known to the world. And it's only the insight that is, which is the essence of the Buddha's teaching, that is unique to the Buddhas.
Greg, regardless of the accumulations, I think you can understand that if an akusala has arisen in the moment, that's because it's conditioned by ignorance. There's ignorance then, and because there's a lot of ignorance, akusala continues to arise. So I think you can see there that it's because of ignorance that there's so much akusala, and hence the way to get rid of akusala is understanding. So understanding leads to abandonment of akusala and the encouragement of kusala.
And the patience, parami, kanti, parami, has to develop with the right understanding. Without understanding, there cannot be any development of any parami. So the more understanding there is of whatever is conditioned now, seeing, hearing, anger, like, dislike, they're all dhammas, they're all anatta. So the kanti parami has to develop, does develop with understanding of whatever is there, whatever is conditioned, no wishing to have another object, to have less anger or restraint or anything else, because there is restraint at those moments of understanding with awareness. It is the sati with understanding that guards from akusala. So there has to be patience of whatever is conditioned, not what I would like to select, not just of wholesome states, but whatever is conditioned right now. Boredom, restlessness, seeing, hearing, whatever is conditioned is just a dharma, not mine. Doesn't belong to me. Would you like to add anything?
Is there kanti now? That moment of not forget what Buddha said about Cetana. See, it seems like there is some level of understanding by words or talk about it, but it's not enough. So at that moment, understanding all dhammas are so very subtle. And there is kanti to consider again and again about, we have talked about some kanti, to understand it better. That it's not the word at all, but it's the reality, which is so very subtle because it arises with every citta. See? But cittas are different. So how can there be only one aspect of what we say, cetana, or kamma, or coordinator, or the will, intention, and so on? That's why the more considering of the truth at that moment is kanti parami. No need to translate it. No, it's not just to try to understand. The word represents it, but it's right there now. It takes quite a long time with patience to really understand the cetana at different level. Because now it's only the intellectual understanding of a reality, which is patient. See, it's not attachment. It's not vitaka, it's not sanya, it's not feeling, but it's that which coordinate or urge the other cetasikas arising together to perform the function, no matter with hatred, or no matter with attachment, or no matter of what state. Panya, right understanding, to understand more and more, deeper and deeper. That's why the cetana arises with each citta, but it is different cetana by different Cetasikas, which arise together. And this is intellectual understanding, to consider more, understand more, little by little. Otherwise, it seems like there is the understanding of Cetana, but when it's there now, what level of understanding? And Buddha didn't just teach to remember the word or understand the meaning, but to understand the truth of what is there as it is, which is so very subtle. What about Vitaka and what about Cetana? They are different. That is Khanti Parami. We don't have to do anything special to have Khanti Parami, but any moment of considering to understand the truth more deeper and deeper and deeper, and begin to get closer, closer to it's there right now. Otherwise, it's just a word talking about it, but it's there right now, so close. And when there will be the understanding of each reality, which is different, each moment in samsara, that which has arisen now has fallen away. The next one is not the past one at all, the previous one. So understanding develops on and on and on. And that is Khanti Parami with Viriya Parami, with Satya Parami, with Adidana Parami. The best moment in samsara is the moment of understanding a little more and more and more about what is there until it appears as it is. No one there at all. And this is a point of listening to the teaching, how subtle it is. And it could be understood stage by stage. Even we are talking about Cetana right now, and there is Cetana right now, but it's not the moment of understanding Cetana when it's there with right understanding. That's why without right understanding, even at the intellectual level, it cannot condition the moment of direct understanding. Cetana right now, it's there. That is why Dhamma is so very subtle. Without careful Khanti Parami, Viriya Parami, to understand the reality as a reality, not anyone at all, it takes time. Without Parami, there can never be the realization of the truth of whatever is there now. That's why understanding what is meant by Parami, not the word, but the moment when it's there. So now, is there Viriya? Is it Khanti? And so on. Not the word, but the reality.
And from the point of view of development of understanding, the anger is just a conditioned reality that is there. The anger is there by conditions. It has a characteristic. Otherwise, it's me and my anger that needs to be managed. And that obviously is not the way the teaching, that is not obviously the teaching of the path of the Buddha.
How to practice, how to guard the mind, or how to restrain for sila, isn't it the idea of what can I do? How can I practice? How can I guard? How can I make them more restraint? This is the opposite of the understanding of the dhammas we're discussing as anatta, arising by conditions, not I guarding. It's the function of sati to guard, sati that arises with understanding. It's the function of understanding to develop bhavana, not I, not any how-to at all. So considering carefully, the understanding develops naturally, not anything for I to do at all. I don't know if any of those points make some sense to you, Drake.
Yes, it does. I'm very grateful. I especially like the idea that intention changes depending on the sita sika that it arises with. So, and that I wasn't sure if I understood correctly, but that patience is there when the will to understand is there, to understand a characteristic of what is appearing is a wholesome sita sika that so even if there's an unwholesome state of mind like anger, if there's awareness of anger and a intention to understand the nature of anger and its impermanence and its not self nature, dukkha nature, then and perhaps to just witness its changing.
There's the there's the realization, the appreciation that trying to do something about it is not the path. I think that's the point. So instead of taking the easy or the shortcut, what might be seen as the path that brings the quickest results, there is the appreciation that that is not a benefit at all, really. It's only the appearance of a benefit or progress, and that the real progress would be if there were understanding of the reality. Not that one can have that understanding necessarily at that moment, because that's also conditioned. So, but it's the appreciation that these things all happen by conditions.
So are you suggesting that we don't really try at all then? I mean,
It's not my suggestion. I think that's the Buddha's teaching. Clearly, he talked about virya, let's be clear on this, as a mental factor which accompanies almost all moments of consciousness in life. And at certain times it's stronger than other times. And obviously when insight is developed, then it strengthens also, along with the other factors that arise at that time. But the path factor of virya is not the conventional idea of trying to do something. Just like the path factor of awareness is not the conventional idea of being aware of what's happening. They have a specific meaning in their context. They are conditioned dhammas for which there's no real language that we have, because all our language relates to the conventional world, but nonetheless these labels can help us to understand these conventional realities.
I think Drake,
maybe that, yeah.
I think Drake, also what's being talked about by everybody, it seems to me, in their own way, is the nature of anatta, truly, and this Dhamma, or one of the characteristics of the Dhamma, anatta, literally meaning obviously not self, unself. So this idea of somebody trying, well, that doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense, because there is that reality of anatta, the non-selfness of all dhammas. And I know we have these ideas of somebody trying, and as Jonathan has alluded to, I think very, very well at the beginning there, saying is that we're wanting to have more kusala and less akusala, but because of the nature of anatta, not self, there are not conditions for that. You can't, there's not an overall director who can say, okay, let's have more kusala or let's have less akusala. That that just doesn't add up in terms of the nature of reality. It doesn't make any sense. So that then begs the question, well, what can be done? And when we, as Tanajan is always talking about, is considering carefully the implications of anatta, and what can be done in the face of that is to develop gradually, very gradually and very patiently, understanding of the dhammas that are appearing at any particular moment. But that doesn't mean to say that, excuse me, that, we will have automatically less kusala, even when we listen a lot. That won't happen either, because there is still the nature of anatta that is embedded in the nature of existence. So as much as we want to have less akusala or more kusala, that won't happen when we're thinking in those ways. We can say that by considering carefully what we hear from the wise person, we have to consider, does that make any sense? And especially in relationship to that whole aspect, this aspect of anatta. It's not easy, because a lot of the Dhamma is very counterintuitive. It doesn't seem to add up. Well, what can I do? Often people are saying this. There must be something I can do to cut down on my kusala or to have more kusala. Yes, there is in a way, and that's, as has been spoken to, is to have more understanding by listening carefully, little by little, and as Tanajan often talks to about the nature of patience. We want to get rid of akusala, but we can't do that. We can't do that because you're constrained by the nature of not self. The realities are not self. And I think the more that aspect of the Dhamma is considered, the less likely, potentially, there will be this idea of wanting to get rid of when we know that's impossible.
So as Sundara was just saying, Drake, that there is a way, and that's understanding. So you can think of understanding as the path. And so you can ask yourself, this trying, that whenever there is the intention that they're trying to do good or trying to understand, is that understanding? If it's not, then it's not the path.
And Drake, I want to say that when we say like if there was no enlightenment of Buddha and we hear the Dhamma, despite that, everybody want to be good person. I mean, everybody want to be good and all that. Nobody want to be a bad person and all that. But when we and if we didn't hear Dhamma and everybody also want to be good, yes, not to become a bad person, how to make more chitta kusala and all that. But this is actually wrong, because all this is a want to be good. Want is not good. This is unwholesome, that want to be wholesome, and this is not going to lead to any good, because when there's understanding, understand doesn't want to be good, but see the benefit, the value of good and the harm of unwholesomeness, and it doesn't want, but it sees it. So when we say, oh, how to calm mind, like more awareness, how to reduce and all that, this is all just unwholesome, with ignorance and attachment. Want to be good, but want itself is unwholesome.
Thanks, Hajit, and everyone at home. Does anyone else at home have a question for Ajahn? Otherwise, we have more questions here in the room. So, Yotika, do you have anything you would like to bring up first before we come back to those in the room?
I would like to know, what is reality? Is reality the same as Dhamma?
Is there now without word at all?
It is there.
Is there anything without word? We don't have to say anything, but there is a reality right now. Is it true? No word, just it.
For example, the seeing.
So what is there without word, but it's there as so true that it's moment of seeing, moment of thinking, moment of ignorance. So no need to say about what is ignorance, but this moment, no understanding of seeing as it is. It's the moment of ignorance. Otherwise, one tries to know what ignorance is and when is ignorance. But it's at moment of no understanding of seeing, after seeing has risen. Otherwise, when will it be moment of ignorance? Whatever is there appearing, no understanding of the truth of it. Right there, no one, but it's the reality which cannot discern, cannot understand the truth of that which is appearing right now. We can use different words.
Okay. If there is the knowing that it is seeing consciousness.
What is consciousness?
Consciousness
The word
is consciousness.
is the reality which sees. Whatever arises and experiences any object is the reality which experience the object. No matter we use the word consciousness or any word, it's that reality which now sees. And what is the seeing? It's that which experience the visible object, which appears. Only that which appears.
And is the object then also a reality?
Is it real seeing right now? Is seeing right now real?
Yeah.
So it's a reality.
Oh, yeah. Hearing is also.
Is hardness there now?
Yes.
It's real.
It's reality.
So it's a reality which does not experience anything at all. It cannot experience anything. It cannot know, it cannot like, it cannot dislike because no experiencing of what is there at all. While there is a reality which sees now, different from that which arises but cannot see. Different realities. Seeing is real and hardness is real. Whatever is there.
Hearing is also there.
Whatever is real, right then, is real. Nobody can change it. At moment of hearing, it's real. It's that which hears or that which experiences sound, the same meaning. Because if it does not experience sound, how can the sound appear to be heard? Now, that's why whatever is real when it's there, appearing as it is, hardness, cold, taste, right? Whatever is there is real. It's a reality different from the reality which cannot experience anything. That's why whatever is real, but they are different by the one reality arises and experience the object. Whenever it arises, it experiences the object. No one can stop its arising. No one can stop when it arises not to hear or not to see and not to think. So there is the reality which arises and experience the object and then gone instantly. Is that right? Right now? Hearing gone. At the moment of hearing, there's no seeing, and now there is the seeing, no hearing. Sound gone. Whatever is there, just to be conditioned. It's conditioned to arise and then gone. Is that true?
Yes.
Each moment we are talking about what is real in a moment. To understand the reality at that moment, it cannot be I, because before it arises, it's not there. And as soon as it has risen, it falls away instantly. Not anyone, not anything at all. Begin to consider Viriya Parami, little by little, to understand the truth. From birth to death, any moment in life, in any plane, any existence, what is there is only the reality which arises and experiences the object. And the other one, it is conditioned to arise, to have different characteristics, sound, smell. They cannot experience anything. Is that true? So what is life? It's moment of experiencing what is seen, heard, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, taste, and body.
It is always something what is happening.
All the senses.
All the senses, yes.
When we say what is happening, like now, there is the moment of experiencing the seeing, for example, and that which is seen, what is visible. When conventionally we say what is happening, there's no understanding of dhammas or realities. We think what is happening is I am speaking, but we learn in truth what is happening is one citta after another arising and falling away, experiencing its object, gone forever, just at the moment of arising only. So what is happening is so short, it's just a moment of experiencing. This is why no I to try, no we to try, because there are just these different conditioned dhammas, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. So it's a fantasy, the idea that I can try to do something. There are just different dhammas. So this is why we talk about the dhammas at this moment. And the effort, virya cetasika, it arises with almost every citta, but not most of the rootless cittas, but with every kusala and akusala citta. So at the moment of trying, virya is there, but is it kusala or akusala virya? If it's the virya arising with the citta rooted in attachment, it's akusala virya. At the moment of understanding or wise considering, there is virya, and at that moment it is kusala virya, not I that do anything at all. When it's the idea of I trying, it's the wrong path, not the right path. So thank you for the good question, Yotika. So Dhamma is right now, this reality now.
But if it is like a wrong doing, a wrong path, but it is also a reality then.
That's right. So this is why the Buddha taught about the right path and the wrong path. So the right path, right understanding, right everything, and the wrong path, wrong understanding, wrong effort, wrong awareness, wrong concentration. So when it's I trying, it's wrong understanding, miccha ditthi, another reality.
But in fact, this reality is always ultimate reality.
Exactly, that's all there is in life. So we have all these fantasies about what am I doing now and how I can try, but in truth there are only the ultimate realities arising and falling away now. The rest are ideas that are thought about, dreamt about, but not the actual dhammas, the realities at this very moment. So this is why we come back to understanding, seeing right now, and what is seen, to distinguish between those realities that experience the object and those realities that don't experience anything, in order to let go of the idea of an I that sees or hears or thinks or does anything at all.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thanks, Yotika.
So, what is now happening?
Thankfulness. A feeling, pleasant feeling. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I thought it was a question from a child. What is happening now? Pleasant feeling.
Seeing is happening, hearing is happening, thinking is happening. Is that right?
Yes.
Just in a moment, from moment to moment, that's all. And they are dhammas. Because seeing is real at moment when it's there, see. And hearing is real now when it hears. Right? In a moment, from moment to moment. So very rapidly that the arising and falling away of each reality is not known until more firm confidence of only one reality right now. Seeing is happening. At that moment, no thought about other thing. To understand that seeing is not hearing.
Yes.
No matter seeing or hearing, it's the reality which arises and experiences an object, not that which is seen or sound or smell or taste. So life is only moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking happening from moment to moment. Gone, never to return in samsara, not just only in this life. Is that true?
That's true.
It's right understanding. And when there's no understanding of what is there now, as seeing happens to see, I think about seeing, right? And what is taken for I?
Me.
Attachment and ignorance.
Yeah, attachment, ignorance.
So no matter we're talking about ignorance, it has to be known. When? Right now, after seeing. And what is understanding? Understanding the reality which is there as no one at all, little by little. Parami is developing at moment of understanding the truth of whatever is there. Can avijja, ignorance, be parami?
We just have a few minutes. Chanti, I'm glad to see you on the screen. Is there anything you would like to bring up or say to Ajahn? Or Maeve, I know, Maeve, you appreciate these special times when you can speak to a live Ajahn. Is there anything you would like to say or ask?
Actually, I do have some questions that arose from some of the discussions in Vietnam around breath as an object of meditation, but I think I might wait until the next session, Sarah, because it's probably a vast subject. But I would some questions came up listening to the discussions around breath, and I'd like to explore that more. But next time, I'm happy to do it next
Yes.
time.
And particularly, I think if you can make it for the morning session, also when there's fewer members joining from a later time zone, that would be a good chance to discuss.
Thank you, John.
That'll be great, Maeve. As you say, never a simple topic. So we look forward to that, and very glad that you could watch some of the Vietnam discussions.
Yes, I really appreciated, well, everyone's contribution, especially of Ajahn, of course. I also appreciated the quality of the recordings. So a big thank you to all the technical people that allowed that to happen.
Most of them are here in the room. Kun Warasak in the corner, and Mai from Vietnam, and a lot of hard work went into making it all happen. So thanks for those words, Maeve.
A lot of
Much
hard work
appreciated.
and a few miles of cable. And great to see you, Shanti, and I hope your health is good now. Yeah, thanks for coming back.
Very much appreciation and thanks.
Carmen, anything you would like to say or to mention or bring up?
I really love these kind of sessions where we can see Ajahn live. So I'm grateful listening to all the questions and answers. So thank you.
Please, everyone at home, keep an eye on Dharma Study Group, because there are going to be 1 or 2 changes in the schedule. And Carmen, please let Yotika know. And I'll just mention now, before we're suddenly cut off, that next Saturday there will be no Zoom discussion. So the next Saturday discussion will be in 2 weeks' time. Okay, thanks everyone for joining, and please join any of the other discussions if you can.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.